see the riding on the pavement. Young kids, they're growing up in basements. Online, a whole new generation. I'ma make mine, so you better go take it. Always, they need a new replacement. Decentralized, can't contain it. We're changing lives, yeah, upgrading. Call it suicide of the older generation.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
It's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Nobody is coming to save you. Get up. Be your own hero.
All right, good evening. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Good to see everybody out here tonight. Already, we've got 33 Illuminati confirmed out here in the audience tonight. Boy, what an interesting little show we had last night, huh? Holy cow. It ran quite long, didn't it? We're going to have to make sure we don't do that again tonight. That's a little bit long, but Zerzuz is welcome to come back and maybe finish some of his, as I'm still perplexed as to understanding why the field of meteorology would be dependent upon the belief of a globe. Some of the things that were equated were not even really equatable. I don't even know. I don't know, man. Yeah, still perplexed by a bunch of that. But there again, it goes right into the not wanting to get into the meat of the claim to really understand what it is you're really claiming. I mean, this thing, I have fun with gravity. Gravity's a fun one. Gas pressures are fun one. And this is the whole thing, is when they blew that past you, when they first told you this nonsense about living on a globe, they blew that nonsense right past you. You didn't question that. What 5 or 6 year old's going to say, how can you have air without a container? Or who's going to say any of that, right? Because you don't know yet. So you just take that all for granted. Then they stack all this other bullshit on top of it so that you can, so that, you know, you're not even looking at the basics. But we found that when we take it right back down to that base level of the initial claim, we find that they have no proof of convexity, no proof of gravity, no proof of a gas pressure system existing without containment, No proof that balls of gas can form in a vacuum or anywhere else. Gases don't form into shapes unless it's the shape of its container. I mean, it's constantly moving. I mean, wow. I don't even understand why I have to explain that. But there again, right back to the basics. Without those fundamental things, who was it I heard said that the earth is nothing more than a great big ball of lava with a little thin crust on the outside of it? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? How do you know this? What brought you to that fucking conclusion? I mean, wow. Talk about reaching. And this is where it always goes to, is this reaching, claiming shit that nobody has any possible idea about. Holy cow. Anyway, it was interesting. Kept my mind quite stimulated. And believe it or not, I didn't go right to bed afterwards. I sat up for a little bit and I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, God damn, this is insane that people even entertain these ridiculous ideas, man, without any kind of cohesive proof or anything. It's almost like we just want it to be true. So we're going to put faith into the mix. Why not? My favorite expression was he say, open air, molten crust, water covered spinning space ball, twirling and whirling through a vacuum of space. I think that about covers it all, Iron Horse. I really do. I think that really pretty much covers all of that right there. Because, wow, is that ever some wackadoodle shit? And you're basing this on what? Somebody thought this and drew a picture of a jawbreaker Earth with these little, wow, just what's wrong with? I don't know. Why do you have, let's find out. No, let's just accept some answer that some fucking goofball came up with. Holy shit. Yeah, with nobody driving. Very good, very good. Oh, Dreamy's good with us too. And that's another part too, is that Dreamy knows you're not ever going to get water to form a shape, just like a gas, unless that's the shape of the container. I'm sorry, it's never going to do that. You know what shape the ocean is in? It's in the shape of the basin. That's what the fuck shape it's in. Okay? You're never going to have a ball of water that's going to maintain being an all. I love it when they show you, look here on the 0G plane, see this glob of water? You mean that water that's in free fall? Here, do this for me. How about take your hand and cut that little glob of water that's floating around in half, all right? And then show me how its gravity is going to pull it back together so that it becomes one glob again. Do that. Jesus Christ. Yes, M-Ball, you should admit you don't know. You don't know what the fucking sun is. You don't know how far away it is. You don't know what the stars are. You don't know how far away they are. You have no proof of gravity, so you don't know that exists. There's a lot of shit you don't know, M-Ball. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because that was really interesting when we changed the medium. And our friend Zerzu said that the rate would still be the same, even though it's obviously not. I asked him, what is gravity? And he said 9.8 meters per second squared. I said, that's the effect. What's the fucking cause? No, what's been measured, M-Ball? What's been measured? The rate at which something falls. So what? So what? Change the medium, you've changed all that. You've changed all of that. And it is all about the medium. It's the relative density per volume to the medium. That's it. It's nothing more. You guys and your little fantasy bullshit. Come on up, M-Ball, and tell me about your gravity. Tell me all about your gravity. I want to hear about it. I want to hear all about how it is and that you don't know what the fuck it is, but it must exist or we can't have space. Okay, so gravity has been measured. Gravity itself has been measured, or the effect of gravity has been measured, M-Ball? Which one? Is it the effect of gravity or is it gravity itself? Think. And keep in mind that that cause and effect cannot ever be the same.
Good evening.
So, Dreamy, I found this little clip today of when you were talking about the photographers that would want you to cover one eye when they took pictures. And I thought we'd kind of start with that.
Like one time I did a magazine cover and the lady had me hold something over my eye. And I go, why would I want to do that? And she goes, just everybody does it. I go, okay. So I held a button over my eye and now it shows all these people doing that. And they say they're in the Satan Club. Well, I just did it because the photographer told me to.
Yeah.
And they probably did too.
Yeah.
Well, of course, now looking back, they probably are in the Satan Club. But I didn't know no better. I thought, well, if everybody's doing it, I'll do it.
Yeah,
So that-
sometimes you do it because everybody's doing it or something, but you don't know why. And
Yeah.
that's why you should ask questions.
Always. Why are we doing this? Nobody asked the question, why are we eating Tide Pods? And why did someone challenge me
I
to do it?
know. That's disgusting.
And furthermore, why would I do it just because someone challenged me to? You know, good thing they
They
didn't
must
challenge
never
you
have
to.
their mouth washed out with soap when they were little kids. That's all I got to say.
I disagree with 700,000 amateur radio operators around because they have made a conclusion that they're bouncing a radio signal off of the fucking moon when they don't have any proof of that at all. This is how these people's minds work, Dreamy. We saw that last night. They think that you can just look at something and say, well, I think that's what's going on. So therefore, since it did what I predicted it would do, the cause that I said it was is what it is. You know, I mean, it's the dumbest shit in the world. It's just it's the same thing with this bending space-time bullshit. Wow.
Yeah, well, he just kept bouncing back and forth. He doesn't even stick to one side or the other. He just bounces back and forth. If you mention the ball, he mentions the flat. If you mention the flat, he mentioned the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was just being retarded all the way around. He's another Nick.
So M Ball, I'm going to tell you one more time. Okay? Until you can prove any of those simple things that I just listed, shut the fuck up about your goddamn globe. Okay? I'm serious, man. Your fantasy shit is not flying at all around this joint. You dig? Okay? Nobody's buying into your fucking horse shit, right? You have to overcome those simple impossibilities that I just listed. And if you'd like me to list them again, I will. Okay, but I don't think at this point you need it listed again.
They want proof, but they don't even have any proof their globe works the way that it states that it works.
They try to reverse the burden of proof onto the negative. You can't do that. You don't have to prove that I can't turn into a chicken.
The same facts apply to the gas and pressure system, the same way as water applies no matter where you are on the planet.
Yep.
If you want to call it a planet, fine. Call it a planet. It's called Earth.
You can call it whatever you want. Don't makes it that, right, Joe? Cool.
But the thing is you know, there's just absolutely no way to have water to react any other way other than to flow downhill until it finds a resting place where it collects, and then from shore to shore it's as level as a pancake. It just is. There's nothing you can change about that. You can't force it to do anything other than what nature intended it to do, and it speaks loud and clear all on its own.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
And I went and looked up like, they can put different types of gases into a container.
Okay, wait a second, 1 second. M Ball, cool. Give me a verification of that distance. How did you come to a verification of that distance? Did you measure the one-way speed of what was coming, or did you take both of them and average it out? You don't even know the medium in which you're sending the signal. So just stop. God. Go ahead, Dream. I'm sorry.
But anyways, they have to use like filters to get the different molecules or to collect the type of gas that they want to collect.
Yeah, they can do that through the different viscosities of the various gases. They can also there's various means they can get to separate it.
Right.
But
Well,
you know, sometimes it'll just do it on its own.
right.
You know, kind of like how a really heavy saline left undisturbed, a saline section of water can sit, you know, beneath a fresh layer of water that has no salinity to it whatsoever. It's really
I had
quite,
the most
seen that.
crazy. I have the most crazy experiment in my kitchen. I have had it for years. It's kind of getting dusty and everything. But if you take a bunch of salt, like rock salt or something, just put a bunch of salt in it so that, you know, there's more salt than water, pretty much, because it's got to absorb. You know what I mean? So then you put it in there and screw the lid on. My salt has climbed out of that jar. How it got out, it's got a plastic lid. But how did it get out and on top of the jar?
Good question. How did
Yeah,
it?
and it looks really weird. It's got like this like little stringy little bits and clumpy little bits and stuff. People ought to try that. It's very interesting how the salt has now separated itself. Not sure if we're going to keep it. It's been around for a long time. But the thing is, yeah, we thought that was very weird. And so the salt is now on the lid of the jar.
That crazy, man. I wonder
We
if it's
use pink salt.
is it I wonder, is it somehow able to be carried out in like a vaporous state? The salt itself carried out in a vaporous state and then reassembled after the rest
don't know,
I don't know. That's weird, man.
But we used pink salt, so you know it kind of has minerals and what have you in it. So,
That's
but
gay. That's
we
gay
used
salt.
we used a pint-sized jar. And then what happened is I set it up on the refrigerator. I was using it for something else. I set it up on the refrigerator and we just forgot about it. And when we found it again, it's got all this salt. So we've just left it there and continued to watch it. And it's stopped growing. So I think all the salt is out because I had the jar about half full of the rock salt, the pink salt. In the jar with water, and it's climbed out somehow.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just weird as hell, but it's really cool at the same time.
You know, it's kind of weird too, because you know that I think there's something to that too, because you know, not that it means anything, but you know how like when you get close to the ocean, you can smell the salt air,
Yes.
the sea air.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's, you know, a correlation. Probably. The sun can appear. You know, I did see a neat thing, and I've been onto this for a while, that there is no real one sun, that we're all have like our own personal sun, our per sun.
How would that work? I don't think so, because everybody looks up and sees the sun.
But we never see it exactly in the same place. I mean, if you and I both point at the sun, we'll actually, when you look, we're both actually not pointing at the same place.
Well, you're right, because I'm way over here on the West Coast and you're way over there.
Oh, I mean, even
But
if we're only a few feet from each other.
High noon Central Time.
You can do this with a mirror, right? You can set a mirror outside someplace with the sun reflecting into the mirror, and then have two people stand back and have them say, draw a circle where they see the sun at. And then you draw a circle where you see the sun at. And it's going to be in two different fucking places on that mirror. And that mirror only has to be a few yards away from you.
Well, right. It's perspective again. Because when we were in third grade, one of our art projects was everybody had to go outside and just sit someplace with the playground in the middle of us all. And then we had to draw it from our position. So yeah, perspective. Everybody's picture was different based on where they were sitting.
Mm-hmm. Where is that? Did I find that over?
That doesn't mean there was more playground equipment than what there actually was. saying.
All right. Let me see. Where was that? I had it. Oh, this the dang thing. Oh yeah, here it goes. Let me move this over here because I just found this kind of interesting, and it does kind of correspond with a lot of things that I've thought in the past. Oh, good, my download's done. Hold on one second. I had to make room on StreamYard so that I could stream tonight, and I had to do that by downloading. Let's see, that was called what?
Do you only get so much bandwidth or space for that?
Well, there's so much space. They store your videos on StreamYard, right?
Gotcha.
And so yeah, they you stream it on StreamYards, and let me see, what was that one called?
And then you have to get rid of it.
Right, and then after I download it, then I can get rid of it. And now see, I just freed up a whole bunch of space by grabbing a couple more of these videos and down. I should do it right after I'm done so that I don't have to go through and do a whole bunch of them like I'm doing right now.
Right.
You know, like catch up, that kind of thing. Okay, so good. That one's copied
Can you
over.
put it on disc?
What's that?
Can you put it on disc?
Yeah, I've got all my streams and videos are on a multi-terabyte fucking external hard drive. I keep everything, but that gets to be a little daunting because then you have to go back if you want to find something. You have to remember the date,
right?
You know,
and the name of the
or the name of it, yeah, or the name of the stream or whatever.
Right.
So it's a little difficult when you've got hundreds of multiple hour streams. That can get to be a little bit of a daunting task trying to find something. Because I have people say, find that video that this, that, and the other happened on. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Do you remember when the date was? Can you help me out? Who was on the show? That kind of, I got to get a lot of information in order to, actually find that. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get a better cataloging system or something going on. So this was, this is on that personal son. It's real short, but I thought it was pretty interesting. And there was another one that was longer. And as soon as I went to go get at it, then the thing fucking refreshed and I lost the damn thing. So no, before I could even save it or put a heart on it or whatever else. But
all right, little language fuckery. All right, so if you and I look at the same sun, we don't see the exact same sun. Because we can't see through one another's perception. So each person has their own sun, hence per sun. Personal, persona, it's all trickery. That's for another time. But anyway, yeah, we each have our own sun. And I'll tell you what, my sun's acting super fucking weird. So each one of us is like projecting outward our own little mini verse inside a huge web of verse. But yeah, her sun. And what do you think this shit is? Look. I'll tell you what it is. Try to guess what it is. But yeah, it's crazy. But you know what that shit looks like.
I don't agree.
It's not. Perception.
Wish I could find the one that had that old guy talking about it, man.
All right, little language fuckery.
Yeah, it was because it was about a good 6-minute long video, and I was like, holy shit! No, yeah, he really had a lot of good shit on it. I'll find it later. I want to get into more about the sun later on some streams. This thing about the I cannot understand for the life of me how people, though, can't understand simple gas behaviors. Simple, everyday observable laws of physical laws, about water, about how gas and pressure works. I mean, I'm sure everybody else farts at least once a day. There's a good example of a pressurized gas equalizing with the surrounding pressure. I mean, hello. Right. What do you think's causing the pressure? Because it's contained within your intestinal walls and it wants to escape. So I mean
even barometric pressure that tells you, even they use it in the weather science, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the whole thing is you can't have any of that, which reacts with one another. We have different temperatures cause different barometric pressures of the gases. They react upon one another and they express themselves in the form of what we call weather.
Right.
The weather is what happens due to the equalization of these differing pressures. And it doesn't
And
matter if it's
temperature.
on a
I mean, a lot
globe
of it,
or if
a
it's
lot
on
of
a
it's
globe
based
or
on
a
temperature.
terrarium or any other fucking thing in the world. It doesn't matter. None of that has anything to do with the Earth being a globe or not. He actually said that because, and this was a straw man fallacy because he does not know this, but he claimed that all meteorologists are globe earthers. And I'm
That
like,
has
okay,
nothing to do with weather whatsoever.
no. And even if they were, I mean, what if they were all Buddhists? Does that mean that the fucking weather
Temperature is what
Buddhist?
creates the most violent weathers. You have a cold front and a warm front. Watch your weather.
Yes,
It's always that way. You've got a cold front moving in, and you
Yeah.
have a warm front heading towards it. You get tornadoes and all kinds of crazy storms.
Yes. Listen to Jehovah's daughter Barbara. Go over there because here in just a little while we're gonna cut it from here and be only on the backup channel and on
I got the other one. It's just paused.
on Rumble as well. So we'll be doing that here in a little while. We've got a good number of people here right now, and then that way it'll be good when we make the switch. It'll be really cool. But yeah, you're right, Dan. And the weather is fucking crazy. I mean, it's been, we haven't had a lick of snow here. It's usually blistery ass cold this time of year, and it hasn't been. It's the worst we've got has been having some rain, whereas normally that would be snow, but it's been rain. And I don't know what to make of it, man. I really don't. We're getting Barbara was saying there in Colorado, she ain't getting shit worth for snow, you know. And Colorado, you know, isn't Denver like the mile high city? You know, that's they would be definitely getting some, or should be getting some snow.
A mile high from sea level.
From sea what?
From sea level.
Level?
That's what they said.
What the fuck is level?
I never measured it, but that's what they say. Denver sits a mile above sea level.
Let's see what Mr. Super
That's why
Sideliner
it's called
says.
the Mile High City.
Right. He says, I had a Globey insisting that temperatures would have to be the same throughout a closed pressurized system. Yeah, right, because there's no daytime and nighttime. And oh my God. Yeah, because the temperature is always the same. My God. I know.
Earth is fantastic. It's peaceful, it's violent, it's wild, it's untamed, you name it. And they want to put it in a bottle and put a cork on it, and you can't. Just like my salt, it climbed out.
Well, they want to pretend they fucking know everything, right? So, like, let me just bring something up here real quick. This was good.
My question always was, how did the salt get out of there? There's a lid on it, and it's closed tight, and the water's still in it, but the salt got out. That's still a mystery to me.
This guy, I follow this guy on TikTok, and this is fucking fantastic. This really is. This is fantastic. He just puts it down, and he reminds me of a lot of the older guys around here. Myself, Lucky, you know, it's like, all right, let's just even take this back to the freaking basics, right? Okay, how are you gonna do this dumb shit right here? And then build a bunch of stuff off it. But I agree with him so often. I'm curious how flat earthers believe the universe started.
I mean, no disrespect here, but I have to say it like I see it. This just shows how arrogant globers are. They actually believe they know how everything started. Most flat earthers believe, or true earthers believe in creation. They believe in a God that created everything. Because how else do you come up with the human eye, you know? But people who believe in the heliocentric model have the answer for everything. And that's the biggest problem I have with you guys. And it was me too, for 48 years But now when I look back on it, I'm like, how can I possibly think that I know how everything began when I'm just here, 75, 80 years, and I think I know what happened to start everything? Man, you got to get away from that. You got to get away from thinking you know the answer, because I promise you, you don't. None of us do. People act like they know how far a star is away. I mean, there's no way you know that answer. Zero chance of knowing that answer, because you need rate of speed and distance traveled or time traveled in order to get the distance. And we have neither, because we've never been there. So when people say this star's 4 trillion miles away, like they say that with some enthusiasm, like they have the answer. It is zero chance that you know how far that is away. To say how big it is, well, you need to know how far it is away before you know how big it is. I mean, none of these things we know. It's all pseudoscience. And people act like they know the answer to these things. You don't. I mean, no disrespect.
Right. And I've said that all the time. And when I was talking to Red that time, I said, how do you measure? How do you know that distance? And he says, astrometry, which is we measured it. So his answer to how did you measure that? He said, we measured it. Oh, okay. That's a good answer. What?
I know, it's just the same. It's like, I mean, I hear that a lot where they just use the same word for the same thing, cause and effect. Well, you can't just make cause and effect the same thing.
No, you can't. It's like this, man. You
It's
can't
gravity,
have
because gravity did it,
right.
I mean,
Like a
it's the same
pressure,
answer.
a pressure can't be caused by itself.
Right.
Right. You can't have that. It's always cause and effect. You can't have the two things be the same. They do the same thing when they're running this bullshit. With archaeology or paleontology, and you ask them, you say, well, how do you really know, the range dates when you find an object? And they say, well, we know based on the layer, right? And then if you later on, you ask them, well, how do you know what that layer represents? Well, we know that by the things that we find in it. And it's like, wait a minute. You know how old something is because of where you found it. And you know how old where you found it was because of how the shit that you found in it. That's not even.
Well, see, I do get that, because if you do like soil samples and they go down in and they get a core, there's different levels that are different colors of different sediments, right? So they know that there's certain things. Well, they can decide or detect certain things. As far as age, I don't agree with that. It's like the rings on a tree, right? You can count the rings on a tree, and they claim that is how old the tree is. Well, there in the Dakotas, when they found that one dinosaur in the cliff, the land under it was the opposite of the land above it. The core layers, like the dirt was flipped up and over. They found the same things with the mammoths, that the dirt over the top of them was the same layer that was under them, of course.
Wow.
And then you have a few layers at the very top since that event happened. So they can tell some things about the soil. But as far as age and all that garbage,
Well, here's the thing about that.
It's billions of years old.
Is everything getting fucking buried, constantly being buried? I mean, like if I just stood out in my yard, would I end up buried? I mean, that's just stupid. Where's the dirt coming from?
If you go out in your yard is going to have a different type of layer, because of the trees, the leaves falling, and what have you, anything you might put out there. But every layer underneath, but the top layer is going to be what they call topsoil.
Right, but the earth must be getting bigger all the time then.
Well, yeah, I would say it does grow. Well, you have to look at like Hawaii, whenever you've got all the lava that's come up and is on
Right.
top of the ground, that's just rock. That forms
Right.
back into a type of rock. So over time, dust from particles from the air, and it's not a fast process.
So
Those things
how long would it take of dust and particles and shit coming down to make 3 foot more of dirt on top of the earth? Think
probably
about that.
a good amount of years. Because
Yeah.
you look at the desert in the areas where it's down in the valleys, right? You'll find greenery, you'll find water, you'll
Mhm.
find that kind of stuff. But then everywhere else, all that topsoil, because there's nothing holding it down, it just blows in the wind. But
Sure.
it does collect and become very, very fertile in the valleys.
But you know, the Washington Monument has been standing there for quite some time, and it
Oh, that's
hasn't
because all the
become.
politicians like to sit and spin on the top of it.
Yeah, that keeps it from going. Okay, so I'm going to tell everybody here I'm going to be at 10:15. I'm going to be dropping off of the main channel and going over to the backup channel. I'll be only on the backup channel and on Rumble. And I want to get into a little bit about clones. And maybe that's an answer to some of these NPC types that we're running across, but also we'll keep up this about with everything else that we talk about here, the fakery of NASA and everything. The whole point of this, I'm trying to get people to go over, be used to the backup channel. We'll get that one built up big too. And see, then that's a clean channel. That's a clean channel. No strikes, no worries, no problems, right? So we get that one up to 1,000, and then I can build on that channel and start doing some stuff. See, they're attacking this channel, not that one. So sound like a cool idea? You want to see some cool NASA fakery? Of course, we always do. We always do.
Got some more embarrassing space station footage that's just been sent to me, for which I'm very grateful. So thank you. Essentially, it's very similar to a clip we looked at recently, where the space station was being viewed from the space shuttle. But as we're about to see yet again, wow, let's have a look.
Final portion of the rendezvous is done manually with computer control. We fly up in front of the space station about 420 feet, and then we fly in, attempting to be as smooth as possible and plume the station as little as possible to try to preserve its lifetime. See the rest of the crew with navigation sensors helping me. And
look at matey boy here in his Oxford cotton shirt. What a boy.
And Paco being the policeman with the checklist, making sure we accomplish everything.
And this is where the pantomime squad come unstuck. Our pal here is going to look out the window, supposedly at the International Space Station, and just like before in a previous clip which we looked at, the special effects department are going to let down all these space fantasists by layering in the space station inside, yet again, the windowsill of the space shuttle.
Uh-oh. Did you see it? Did you see it?
Let's bring it forward as it's going to full loop. Let's slow it down.
Let me back that up just a little bit.
Let's slow it down.
All right, now watch. It'll be right over the frame. See it? The fucking space shuttle is over the frame of the window.
Let's slow it down.
I mean, you can see it past the
Let's
frame.
turn the volume
So
down.
it's a superimposed image.
Psychedelic nightmare on our hands.
Right.
And let's play this tosh in all its slow motion glory. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a terrible error, yet again, by the special effects department at NASA, as they layered in their space station inside the windowsill of the space shuttle, proving that all of this is just a silly charade. We know it, most of us anyway. But for the ones looking at this, this is absolute garbage. And for the
it is. And I'm just saying, man, that's
they wouldn't be able to navigate in the way that they claim they do in a, you know,
Well, how what are you
and
how are you navigating?
nothing to push against. No,
No.
it's too light. Just do its own thing, right?
Yep. So
They got it.
real quick, it's 10:15. I'm gonna one more time put a link to the backup and where we're at there.
Yeah, I
And
did the same for you.
everybody migrate over to here because we're gonna shut down the main channel right now. So everybody that's watching, go over to Sav's Place or go to SSUM369 on Rumble, and you can catch us there. So everybody that's over on Sav's Place and over in Rumble, sit tight. We're there. So we're going to, how do we get that guy down? Let me see. I'm gonna remove it. There it goes.
Yeah, I put the link